Council for Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Council will be meeting in a hybrid format until further notice. We encourage speakers to continue joining virtually as there will be a limited number of seats available in council chambers. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross, Mr. Kraus, Mr. Lavelle, Mr. O'Connor, Ms. Strasburger, Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mrs. Cal Smith, Reverend Burgess, Chair.
Here.
5 members present.
Thank you very much. As we join from our remote locations, will you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Amen. Our next order of business is proclamations. We have two. First of all, we have a proclamation by Mr. Cross.
Councilman Kraus presents, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize, celebrate, and thank Decker's Service and Auto Sales for their longevity and their generosity to all of the neighbors of Pittsburgh's Allentown neighborhood, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Monday, November 8, 2021 to be Jeff Decker Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
Need a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, there's nay. Ayes have it, so is ordered. Next, proclamation from Councilwoman Smith.
Council President Smith presents, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby honor Mr. Wilbert Darling for his intense loyalty, dedication, and unparalleled leadership. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Saturday, November 20th, 2021 to be Mr. Wilbert Darling Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
Need a motion? Second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, there's nay. It also is ordered. And that now moves us to public comment. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation, which are or may be before city council. Profanity will not be permitted. I have two registered speakers. They will be the first, and then we will open up to others. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, Beltuver and Chicago. Global Intelligence Society candidate for U.S. National Office in 2024, globalintelligencesociety.org. In the early 2000s, I secured memberships in the American Political Science Association and the Law and Society Association. A central concern of Pittsburgh City Council is with Pittsburgh ordinances or laws, and we really need you now in our city and in our country, more than any executive authority or action, in my opinion. As the local legislative branch of government, you're concerned with the rule of law, with the law writ large, with passing laws writ small on behalf of Pittsburgh individuals and institutions, and with pursuing individual and institutional law violations. And finally, with producing legal innovations that cohere with Pennsylvania state and U.S. federal codes. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the USA, law means, as far as I'm concerned, a rule that prescribes or proscribes our actions agreed by the people via publicly recorded and verified direct vote or indirect vote by representatives the people elect to do so. The government of the city of Pittsburgh is lawless writ large because not a single vote for mayor or councilor can be verified by the voter, a voter, any voter, to be true or false. This is the central issue of our democracy. No matter what else is going on, we are not in control of our own votes. The government of Pittsburgh is lawless, writ smaller, and its overuse, in my view, of mayoral executive orders. An executive order by a U.S. president or a Pittsburgh mayor does not have the same legal force as legislative acts by the U.S. Congress or this council. That is one reason why this council is so important to our city. EOs are pseudo laws. Presidents and mayors do legal makeup, quotation marks. Congress and council make law. 7/2021 Mayor EO authorizes the pilot spin program. This is lawless as far as I'm concerned. As far as I can find out, there is no ordinance. 5/10/19 Mayor EO established the Pittsburgh Government Office of Equity. Again, as far as I know, there is no ordinance. And also the Paris Accord by EO. Does the mayor have executive authority to do a drone kill on a Pittsburgh citizen if intel says he or she is a threat, as President Obama authorized a drone kill against a U.S. citizen, Anwar al-Awlaki, whom U.S. intelligence agencies identified to be a terrorist? That's lawless.
Thank you very much, Dr. Miller. That now brings us to Naomi Mullen.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Thank you. Shady trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. The Pennsylvania Constitution states under political powers that all power is inherent in the people and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. Where did elected officials get the idea that they are lording over us? How can they make decisions for our community that we have lived in and been property owners in for decades? The PPS board and administration created a controversy. After repeated speeches to the board and city council, they have not dropped the sale of Bon Air School. It is a crime to use a falsehood to vote, create a resolution, sign a sales agreement, transfer property, or create a legal contract under a misrepresentation. Officials have a duty to investigate and against a crime. There have now been 3 community meetings with Gregory Coyle. It is 7 months now of no community support from Bon Air. We even gave him a petition with 250 signatures on it. We want the building torn down and a green space to take its place. Gregory is operating in bad faith, and the school district officials are harming we, the people of Bon Air. This issue has united our neighborhood, regardless of political party or race. We have hundreds of signatures on our petitions to prove the community support for a green space. Significant community concern has been expressed to the Board of Education and the City Council all these months since the announcement of the sales agreement for Bon Air School. Perhaps there is a neighborhood busting plan afoot. Block busting is illegal. Is there any lobbying or unregistered lobbying taking place? A senior neighbor whose extended family that's lived here for over 100 years told me something very wise. She said that there is going to be a revolution if this keeps up. My sincere, consistent request is that City Council create a resolution to block zoning change and support a green space to replace Bon Air School building. Do your part for the environment, reduce urban heat, reduce watershed to Route 51, increase green space to benefit all ages and stages, protect the children at the playground across the street. Let's make it wheelchair accessible to allow those who have difficult access to nature the ability to enjoy it. Tear down detrimental problem buildings, not safe, stable neighborhoods. You want to reduce watershed to Route 51, and this is your opportunity to help that need. Investigate fraudulent acts by PPS administration, board, and contractors. Oversight is needed to avoid bad actions like the poorly placed roundabouts. Shady trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers? Are there other speakers? As seeing none, the next order of business is Mr. Kraus. Good morning. Sure, of course. I thought it was read as yours, though, I think. It was read in the record as yours. Yes. All right, next order of business will be presentation of papers. Councilman Burgess, Chair of Urban Recreation, Councilwoman Gross, all the way over to the left for Councilman Burgess. Thank you very much.
Councilman Reverend Burgess presents Bill number 2205, resolution amending resolution number 24, authorizing the Department of Parks and Recreation to enter into a community partner access agreement with Voices Against Violence and the Pittsburgh contingency for use of the McKinley Community Recreation Center in order to provide recreational and community-focused activities. Said agreement shall be at no cost.
Thank you very much. That brings us to Councilman, I'm sorry, Mr. Kraus. There's a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Is waived. Will be on this afternoon standing committee meeting. All right, that takes us to Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Works. Again, Councilwoman Gross for Mr. Coghill.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 2206, resolution granting unto Presbyterian University Health System, their successors, and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to reconstruct an existing ADA concrete ramp, retaining walls, and bollards at 3459 Fifth Avenue in the Fourth Ward, 8th Council District. Bill number 2207, resolution granting unto Erkuchel and Neslihan, their successors, and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to reconstruct 3 existing sets of steps and to install 4 tree pits and an awning at 4632 Center Avenue in the Fourth Ward, 8th Council District. Bill number 2208, resolution granting unto McKnight Bank Tower, their successors, and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to install a new projecting sign at 404 Wood Street in the First Ward, 6th Council District. Bill number 2209, resolution granting unto 5803 Center LLC, their successors, and assign the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to install below grading shoring along Commerce Street at the 5803 Center Avenue rear in the 8th Ward, 7th Council District. Bill number 2210, resolution granting unto Gustavo and Emily Cardona, their successors, and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense an existing retaining wall presently constructed in the right-of-way at 130 Burr Street in the 6th Ward, 3rd Council District. Bill number 2211, resolution granting unto Pearl Street Townhomes, their successors, and the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense to install an underground storm sewer at 210 Pearl Street, 9th Ward, 7th Council District.
Thank you very much. That takes us to Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Intergovernmental Affairs. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 2212, resolution adopting the plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the CMU Health, Wellness, and Athletic Center, Tech Street.
That takes us to Councilman Kraus, Chair of Human Resources.
No new papers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That takes us to Councilman Lavelle, Chair of Finance and Law. Thank you.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 2213, resolution authorizing the issuing of a warrant in favor of Crystal L. Abbott and her attorney in the amount of $34,496 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. Bill number 2214, resolution authorizing the issuing of a warrant in favor of Michael Lucas in the amount of $2,500 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. Bill number 2215, resolution authorizing the issuing of a warrant in favor of Kelly Masucci and her attorney in the amount of $59,477 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. Bill number 2216, resolution authorizing the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional services agreement with Cohen Law Group to address pending telecommunications litigation at an amount not to exceed $61,050. Bill number 2217, resolution authorizing the issuing of a warrant in favor of Alan Daniels and Simone in the amount of $65,000 relating to the full and final settlement of a case filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. Bill number 2218, resolution authorizing the issuing of a warrant in favor of Summer Abbott and Phil De Lucente in the amount of $15,000 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County.
That brings us to Councilman O'Connor, Chair of Public Safety Services. Councilman Lavelle for Councilman O'Connor. Thank you.
Councilman O'Connor presents Bill number 2219, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Safety to enter on behalf of the city into an agreement with A Step Up Veterinary, Inc. for professional licensed veterinary services for the city's Department of Public Safety Bureau of Animal Care and Control at an overall cost not to exceed $180,327.71. Bill number 2220, resolution providing for the issuing of a warrant in favor of Coral Center for Civic Leadership in the amount of $6,000 for fellowship services provided to the city for placement fees and public sector fellows. Bill number 2221, resolution amending resolution number 47, authorizing the mayor and director of public safety to enter on behalf of the city into an amended professional services agreement with In Time Solutions for EMS and police scheduling and timekeeping services at a cost not to exceed $902,525.
Thank you. That brings us to Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Innovation, Performance, and Assets Management.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Strasburger presents Bill number 2222, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of innovation and performance to enter into a 2-year professional services agreement with Victor Stanley Services to meet the needs of the city at a sum not to exceed $212,166. Bill number 2223, resolution amending resolution number 676, which authorizes the city to enter into an agreement with Malka to provide a building benchmarking management platform software solution by extending the term of the contract by 3 years at a cost not to exceed $80,000. Bill number 2227, resolution authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and director of the Department of Innovation and Performance to enter into a contract or agreement with Pacifica, Inc. for public access and digital preservation software for the Records Management Division. Total cost not to exceed $64,100 over 5 years. Bill number 2230, ordinance amending and supplementing the city code at Title VI Conduct Article 1, Regulated Rights and Actions by adding a new chapter 610 entitled Prohibition on Use of Certain Bags and Checkout Bag Charge to permit the use of only certain bags by retail establishments at the point of sale or for a delivery, and establishing a charge payable by the customer to the establishment for the provision of other types of bags, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you very much. That takes us Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 2224, resolution further amending resolution number 647 entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2021 Capital Budget, the 2021 CDBG Program, and the 2021 through 2026 Capital Improvement Program, so as to identify specific public service grant projects of the mayor's office and authorize a subsequent agreement for operation, administrative expenses, maintenance, purchase of equipment, and/or rehabilitation of neighborhood facilities on behalf of the residents of the city.
Thank you very much. That takes us to Councilwoman Kell Smith. She has two communications. Clerk.
Councilwoman Kell Smith presents Bill number 2225, communication from Kevin Paulus, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting a $2,500 donation to the Department of Public Safety from the Stanton Farm Foundation for the purchase of fentanyl test strips to be distributed to the Pittsburgh Emergency Medical Services. Bill number 2226, communication from Kevin Paulus, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting acting pay approval on behalf of the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service for Jamie Warnock per the acting pay policy revised in June of 2018.
And I believe they both need a read, receive, and file. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. It is approved. That brings us to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business before council? Seeing none, that takes us to report of committee final action. Councilman R. Daniel Lavelle, Committee on Finance and Law. Thank you.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 2201, report of the Committee on Finance and Law for November 17th of 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 57, ordinance amending the City of Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances Title II, Fiscal Article 5, Special Funds, Chapter 238. The City of Pittsburgh Parks Tax Fund, Trust Fund, to conform with the Home Rule Charter, Article 9, in order to establish the creation of the Pittsburgh Park Trust Fund. Bill number 2149, ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code Title I Administrative Article 7, Procedures, Chapter 161, Contracts, by repealing Section 16139, Environmentally Preferred Purchases, in its entirety, and replacing it with a new Section 16139, Sustainable and Socially Responsible Procurement. Bill number 2150, resolution authorizing 24 open-end professional services agreement with 12 vendors to provide professional services on an on-call basis as required, related to professional IT services as needed by the various departments of the city, each agreement being at an amount not to exceed $500,000 annually for a 2-year term with up to 2 additional 1-year options, and providing for funding of the cost thereof. Bill number 2151, resolution authorizing 39 open-end professional services agreement with 24 vendors to provide professional services on an on-call basis as required, related to professional IT services as needed by the various departments of the city, each agreement being at an amount not to exceed $250,000 annually for a 2-year term with up to 2 additional 1-year options, and providing for funding of the cost thereof. Bill number 2156, resolution authorizing the city to participate in applicable corporative purchasing agreements for goods, materials, equipment, supplies, services, professional services, or construction as authorized by the Commonwealth Procurement Code and the Pennsylvania Intergovernmental Corporation Law for the 2022 fiscal year. Bill number 2157, resolution providing for the letting of contracts and for the use of existing contracts for the purchase of materials, supplies, and equipment for city departments, and the maintenance, repair, rental, and/or leasing, rehabilitation, renovation, inspection, or servicing of city buildings and facilities, and for any miscellaneous services in and for any city department, and providing for the costs for the 2022 fiscal year. Bill number 2158, resolution authorizing city council to approve intra-departmental transfers throughout the 2022 fiscal year. Bill number 2173, Resolution authorizing all city departments in conjunction with the Department of Finance to enter into facilities usage agreements for the purpose of permitting groups and individuals to rent city-owned facilities for recreational and community-focused activities during the 2022 calendar year. The city shall not charge more than $10,000 per rental agreement.
Madam Clerk, could you read again Bill 2148, please?
Bill 2148, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh City Code Title I Administrative Article 7, Procedures, Chapter 169A, electronic signatures to mandate the use of electronic signatures by city department.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing now none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross, excuse me, Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, Reverend Burgess, Chair.
Aye.
I 6, no 0.
The bills having received the legally required number of votes is finally passed. That brings us to Councilman Anthony Coghill, Committee on Public Works. Ms. Gross, on behalf of Councilman Coghill, please.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 2202, report of the Committee on Public Works for November 17th of 2021 with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 2142, resolution providing for a supplementary agreement with Allegheny County for local costs associated with the Sixth Street Bridge project and providing for the payment of local costs not to exceed $24,274.38. Bill number 2143, resolution providing for an agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Department of Transportation for local costs associated with the State Route 60 project and providing for the payment of local costs not to exceed $6,248. Bill number 2164, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code Title IV Public Places and Properties, Article 1, Public Right-of-Ways, Chapter 416, obstruction by adding new definitions and amending permitting requirements for construction activities, encroachments, and minor encroachments.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, Reverend Burgess, Chair.
Aye.
I 6, no 0.
The bills having received the legally required number of votes is finally passed. That brings us to Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Strasburger presents Bill number 2203, report of the Committee on Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management for November 17, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 2159, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of innovation and performance on behalf of the city to enter into an agreement with the change agent training for access to their learning management system and consultative assistant to adapt the City of Pittsburgh Gold Belt Workshop for e-learning for 1 year at a cost not to exceed $18,000. Bill number 2160, resolution amending Resolution 642, authorizing the mayor and director of innovation and performance to enter into an agreement with Computronics for the provision of a permitting and licensing package at a cost not to exceed $255,000. Bill number 2162, resolution amending Resolution 138, authorizing the mayor and director of innovation and performance on behalf of the city to revise the not to exceed funding amount to $3,530,131.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote Aye, when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess, Chair.
Aye.
I 6, no 0.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is finally passed. That takes us to Councilwoman Deborah Gross, Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 2204, Report of the Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs for November 17, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 2144, Resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the 5941 Penn Avenue project, 5941 Penn Avenue. Bill number 2145, Resolution authorizing the approval of the 2022 Housing Opportunity Fund Annual Allocation Plan, Council Districts All. 2146, Resolution authorizing execution of a deed by and between the URA and the city for the sale of Block 25A, Lot 2 in the 24th Ward, River Avenue, Council District Number 1. Bill number 2166, Resolution authorizing the URA to submit an application to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Keystone Communities Enterprise Zone Designation Program, Council District All.
You've heard the read and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? If there's no discussion by members, I do want to say one thing, and that is about the annual allocation of the Housing Opportunity Fund. I think there are two things. Councilman Lavelle mentioned both of them during our meeting. One is that we need to seriously contemplate an extension of the authorization of that fund. It has been a unique source of funding. The second thing that he and I both agree on is this. Although the money we put in is helpful, half the money goes to social services. That means it's not renewable. It is expended, very helpful to the people who receive it, but has no long-term benefits except for those individual families. And we are in agreement that if we are serious, and we may not be serious, but if we're serious about affordable housing, every year that number increases. There are more people every year who need more affordable housing. And this is a wrinkle that we've not yet talked about as a council. Maybe not, this isn't the time to talk about it. But as our economy gets better, as income goes up, because what we're really doing is we are importing more highly trained professionals. We are exporting low-income people. Mostly, that's what's happening in our city. Low-income Black people are moving out. This is a characterization, but low-income Black people are moving out. High-income non-African Americans are moving in. One of the unperceived challenges that are going to happen is that the average income will go up. That is, when we start doing the thresholds for affordable housing, those people who are considered low income, that number will go up. And they will compete with lower income people for these housing. And so for the very poor, actually, it's going to be more severe over the next few years. As our city does well, then the lower middle class people will be able now to qualify for affordable housing. And those who are at the bottom will be even more dire straits because that housing will be eaten up quickly by the other people. And so we have to find a way, if we're serious, to increase more affordable housing. In my humble opinion, there's only one way to do it. And, and Councilman Lavelle and I agree on this. You have to put more money in the pipeline. You have to find a way to get a lump sum of money, something like $100 million, $200 million. Now, we'll talk about that here at council over the next few weeks. I'm not a genius, but it is every developer, every person, financier, every person that I've talked to who does this all agree we need to figure out a way to create a lump sum amount. The number I have is 200 million. I think that's the number we should aim for. Figure out a way to create somewhere between 100 million to $200 million to jumpstart affordable housing. And then over the next 5 years, we can create a new era of affordable housing in the city of Pittsburgh. And so that's sort of my thinking, and I will talk about this over and over and over and probably over again. The bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle. Ms. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Reverend Burgess, Chair.
Aye.
I 6, no 0.
The bill, having received a legally required number of votes, is finally passed. That takes us to motions and resolutions, discussion on behalf of council members. I don't know, maybe Councilman Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I apologize for being late. I just had a morning. But I just wanted to recognize the work of Councilwoman Strasburger on 2230. I remember one of the first meetings I had was with a woman named Jackie Dixon, who I'm sure we all know from Giant Eagle, and I wanted to talk about how we could work towards eliminating plastic bags. And you would have thought like that was almost sacrilegious, that we couldn't possibly go near that and why we shouldn't go near that. But here we are 12, 13 years later, and you see how the consciousness of the public, retailers at large has changed, and how we are strangling the planet by this single-use plastic. And in the press release that the councilwoman put out, here we have Giant Eagle Corp on board actually saying, this is the right thing to do. This is good, sound public policy. And this is the kind of initiatives we should be working towards. I will confess, I'm as big of an offender as anyone else. I keep all the right kind of bags in my car, and then I go in and I forget them, and I don't want to go back out and get the bags. So I mean, I am not absolved by any means from being someone who's used single plastic, but this is a really, really, really good step forward. I remember being in New York on a meeting for the Responsible Hospitality Institute. It had to be at least 7 or 8 years ago. And many of you know I tend to do retail therapy fairly regularly. And every shop I went into in New York, everyone asked me if I wanted a bag. No matter where I went, do you want a bag? And I was like, thank you for asking me. No, I don't. I'll just carry it out. So this is a really, really good step forward. It was really the diligence and the commitment and hard work of Councilwoman Strasburger that brought this into fruition. And I just want to recognize her and the work that she's done, because this is a new day, and it may take a while, but this is definitely going to change the face of how we consume plastic, at least here in the city of Pittsburgh. And I'm very proud. Thank you.
Other members, Councilwoman Strasburger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Councilman. And I want to recognize that there have been a multitude of council members who have focused on this over the years. This is, I mean, when we talk about waste, litter, our waste stream, recycling, composting, you know, at the standing committee table, we go on for an hour because everyone cares about this. This is an issue that touches our neighborhoods and everybody's individual lives tremendously. So I want to recognize that it is a part of a larger effort that many of us are embarking on when it comes to reducing waste, reducing the amount of waste that's going into our landfills, improving recycling and reuse, but also changing our systems, creating a circular economy so that we're actually thinking about, as individuals and as a city, the full life cycle of items. So from beginning to end, what a plastic bag, the life of a plastic bag and where it ends up. Sometimes it ends up in our city's streets as litter. Sometimes it ends up over our hillsides and people have to spend Saturdays volunteering with Allegheny Cleanways to clean it up. Sometimes it ends up down our catch basins and in our sewers and has to be vacuumed out by PWSA. Sometimes it ends up in our rivers and chokes wildlife. And sometimes it breaks down into microplastics, which we then aren't able to adequately filter, and it's in our drinking water. So there's so many reasons to tackle this. And I just want to note that it's been, decades in coming, that this has been worked on by many and tackled by many different council members, and that this is not an effort that, is a singular person. It's a whole team effort of council members, but also a whole coalition of organizations. And I intend to hold this for at least a couple of weeks at next week's standing committee, because it deserves the discussion, the full discussion of council members to work out the details, talk about what this means for equity, and truly be able to pass a bill that we can all be proud of. Thank you. Oh, I do want to note, in addition to the co-sponsors listed, that, and I want to thank you, Councilman Wilson, Councilman Kraus, for that. Councilman O'Connor is also asked to be listed as a co-sponsor of this.
Interrogative, Councilman.
Yeah, may I add something, Mr. Chair?
Ross.
We, all of us are passionate about recycling. And that's the right thing to do. But the new recycling has to be reduction. It has to be reduction. This idea that we can use something for this simple moment in time, and then it lives for generations beyond us. We have the Southside Parking Enhancement District, and we have a clean team on the street. 2 people full-time. We're about to add a 3rd person because of the amount of waste that collects on any given day. Generally speaking, when we get our monthly reports, we average 1,600 pounds of trash picked up on one Main Street in the city every month. 1,600 pounds. And when we talk about that, and I give the report, I always emphasize reduction, 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 reduction. But it's like I'm living in a world of 12 years ago when they're looking at me like, what do you mean reduction? We have to find a way to stop using single container. It just, this thing that lives for 30 seconds in our life and then lives for 100 years beyond us. There has to be a better way to do it. So my advocacy really isn't as much as I'm rabid about recycling, absolutely rabid about it, but the key really is reduction. We have got to stop.
Other conversation? Seeing none, anything else from about a different topic? Any other council member has something during motions and resolutions? If not, I want to use this opportunity to wish members of council and their families, clerk office and their families, the employees of the city of Pittsburgh and their families, and all those who may be watching us via media, and certainly all residents and friends of this city, a happy Thanksgiving and a happy Thanksgiving holiday. I must say, from my perspective, and this is just from my perspective, Thanksgiving means the acknowledgement or gratitude of a benefit received. It is not just a day between Halloween and Christmas, but it is its own day to remember the blessings from God. At least from my perspective, that is what it is. And so I would challenge all of us to use Thanksgiving as a day to be thankful and to realize that we have been richly, truly, and uniquely, specially, and wondrously blessed by God. And I challenge us to think of that day, not just the day before Black Friday. And so now we are ready for our meeting announcements. This afternoon at 12 p.m., council will hold an executive session relative to changing the rules of council. This afternoon at 1:30, council will hold their standing committees meeting. Speaker registration closes at 12:30 p.m. To register, fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage. You may also call the city clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Budget meetings will continue tomorrow, Tuesday, November 23rd, with housing, parking, and sports and exhibition and stadium authorities at 10 a.m., chaired by Councilwoman Gross, and the PWSA in Alcoasand at 1:30 p.m., also chaired by Councilwoman Gross. All budget meetings will be streamed live via City Channel Pittsburgh on YouTube. I need a motion to do 3 things: to excuse the absent members, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting.
So, second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. We are adjourned.